Okay, today we're just going to talk about the Wankle shield briefly. You can also call it a triangle, but the reason we call it a Wankle is it's the same shape as the rotors in the Wankle rotary engine. If you're not a car person, you won't get that, so you can call it a Wankle or a triangle. It is essentially a triangular shaped shield that has curved edges. What I find about this shield is it has the positives of many other shields. It has corners, much like a heater, and if you look at the shape of it, it is kind of heater shaped if I put the flat top along there. But it has the advantages of the rounded edges of a round shield. It's a very aggressive and dynamic shield. It's not a beginner's shield. The way they're strapped, as you can see, the elbow is in the bottom corner and the hand sits in the middle of the leading edge. That leading edge is primarily where you're blocking from. The stance with a Wankle shield that I utilise, I have the back corner resting on my shoulder with the front edge out. I use a sword foot forward stance and cross block my head with my sword. If you look at my stance now, the only open parts that you'll be able to see on my body are down my sword side, which you think would leave me vulnerable to deep offside shots. The advantage of the Wankle, being that it has the curved front edge, is I only need to move that much to have that entire side covered. It's a movement of maybe 2 inches at the point. It comes over. My head is still blocked with my cross block from the sword. If it was a feint and someone was to come into a leg shot, I drop it to there, my legs are covered, my head's still covered with the cross block. That is the basic stance of the Wankle. You get that weight forward on your sword foot forward leg, and then all your blocking comes from moving your body, punch blocking, especially for those offside shots, it becomes a punch block. Because it's a small and dynamic shield, you can make that block and still be able to throw shots. You're not tied up or constricted by your own shield. As I said, not a beginner's shield. It does have some weak points. The weak points it has is if you're fighting against a pole arm, it's not a big shield. It's a little shield. There is a lot of open space. Again, to, as I said, aggressive and dynamic shield. To fight against pole arms, you have to be aggressive and dynamic with it, because if you stand in their range, they will stab you. It doesn't have great coverage. It's also not great against Florentinus because it relies on dynamic movement, putting it against the threat while leaving your attack open. When there's 2 threats, it becomes more complicated. And of course, the other weakness it has, if you look in the profile, is this wrap here. Because though, using a sword foot forward stance and creating that range and measure where your defense is actually forward of your body, it's quite hard for someone to get around you to throw that wrap. This is my style of using the Wankle. It's won me 2 crowns, so I'm accomplished with it and I'm an advocate of it. So for those of you who are going to pick it up and try it for the first time, I urge you to focus on locking that against your arm there. The point should be between your eyes right there. You should be able to look either side of it, because that will block face flick shots. If someone tries to thrust you, you've got a line on that will help deflect those shots. You'll see that the way my arm is locked in there, I have it tight in my hand. At no point do I use the shield like this. If you're going to use the shield like this, you may as well get a round shield and use it center gripped, or use a big flat heater like that. It's a dynamic shield that comes forward, almost like using a buckler. Okay.
Good.